Hello folks and welcome along to WWR. We are here for the Lauda and we are here at Season 5, Round 8 for the Suzuka Grand Prix. Right now we're on board with XD Pro, who is on a lap right now. Just starting first driver out on track, got a little bit of traffic there. Is that an Alpine there? Or was that was an Aston Martin, it seems. I wonder if that Steve. Oh, XD Pro getting too much on the curb there. Going around turn 4 there, sorry, and end up getting a little bit out of shape. Right now, what we'll do is this track, Suzuka, only figure 8 track actually on the calendar, and it was first on the calendar on the 1st of November 1987. So, almost 38 years ago. No, 37 years ago, sorry. Yep. We've got, it's a 5.81 kilometre track, or if you prefer that in miles, that's 3.608 miles. 18 corners, 1 DRS zone. We're going to end up having 9 laps for the sprint race, and then 27 laps for the main race. The tyres we're going to be using here tonight are the hardest of the bunch, the C3 soft, C2 mediums, and the C1 hard compound tyre. And I've also had word that it's apparently raining in the race, not the sprint race, in the main race. So that is going to be quite spicy, and going to be looking forward to that. Right now we'll have a little look at the driver's standings, as we see King Panda, who's having a little bit of issues getting into the lobby earlier, puts in the fastest lap time in that Haas of 1:30.919. Let's see who's going to be up next. We'll sit with Steve, who's just coming around the Casio triangle right now. No final chicane. And there we go, he puts in the fastest lap of 1:29.534. Right now, have a look at the standings for the drivers. In first place is Onsu on 92 points. And a good few points behind that is Steve on 66 in second. And third is Lewis on 56. 3 points behind that on 53 is Mel Dave in fourth. And we've got King Panda on 47 in fifth. And sixth is Ricky Mario on 44. Same with XD Pro. 42 points for Mr. Formula 1 in eighth. Then we've got iFishers on 34. Czech on 26 in 10th. In 11th is Atsu on 25. Chuck Norris on 22 points. And then it's Tiny in 13th on 21 points. Ryanair in 14th on 18, 16 for Apple. Then we've got Trucker on 13 and 16th place. So, having a little look at the constructors' standings right now. We're seeing times coming in a lot quicker now. 1:28.622 from our championship leader of Onsu right now in Williams. Oh, and we see the reserve of XD Pro coming flying in there with 1:28.496. Who else is going to be quicker than that? Looking at the constructor standings right now, though, we've got Williams on 161 points. Ferrari's in second on 95, 92 points for Silver. Then we've got Haas on 68 points, 58 points for Red Bull in fifth. And sixth is Mercedes on 52, 1 point behind that. And seventh is VCarb, the RBs, in 7th on 51 points, Aston Martin on 48 points, then we've got Alpine in 9th on 46, same with McLaren, and they're both in 9th and 10th, tying for that 10th position. And I just seen a message come up there as I wasn't paying attention, and Trucker's been disqualified for parking the wrong way, or been in a dangerous position, so he's been disqualified from that, unfortunately. Seen a good few yellow flags there at the end. We'll go on board with Mel Dave for now. Actually, what we'll do is we'll do one whole lap with Jay in this Mercedes. Getting a little bit out of shape there. Getting too much on the curb there out of the Casio triangle. Now DRS is wide open all the way down to turn 1, where it's just going to be a little lift and onto the brake very lightly as you're coming into turn 2. Now using up the curb on the exit, getting it to the right, and then moving it to the left-hand side for turn 3, and keeping it to the left for going into turn 4, and then all the way up and down the S section, up into the Dunlop curve, and getting a bit too much on that curve there. Now coming up to the Degna 1 and 2, used to be one big corner here, but after a motorcycle accident happened, they ended up getting changed into two slightly slower corners, still full blast out, and then as you exit you go under the bridge, which is actually 130R, later on in the lap through the hairpin there. Now around 200R as you go down and then uphill, trying to get the car straightened, just a little brake down to 5th, little lift there, on step on the brakes just ever so slightly. Now up the gears all the way down to 130R, this flat out left-hander keeping the car to the right hand side, using a bit of that curb there, maybe a bit too much there, but then it comes into the Casio triangle. The final couple of corners, now short shifting a little on the exit, now straight to the line. DRS open for the last like 50 metres or so, puts in a 130.059 on them medium tyres, and that is good enough for 8th place right now. I'll go further down to see Chuck Norris, the only driver who's still yet to set a lap time. Currently sitting in 17th place on them soft compound tyres. Now coming around 130R, we've got 3 minutes left on the clock, so if this isn't going to be a good lap, then they're going to have to just bail out. But it looks like they're going to be doing quite a decent lap, and to actually follow the racing line, if they got across, could have maybe shaved a little bit more time off. But regardless, it goes at 11th with a 130.556, just not too far off Bexon Boy there, just across the line of 506. Floyd coming across the line to finish their lap, going 11th to 130.175. So it looks like the track is evolving and the drivers are getting used to the track now. Nick Flash will be away to just start their lap. No, they're jumping into the pits, and I think that's going to be them. So anybody in the chat section, fire away any messages or that. Let me know how the track condition is and such. Going further down, we'll see Atsu, who's just starting a lap there, coming out of the Casio triangle. We'll sit with the RB, the Red Bull, sorry, of Atsu, as you see a Ferrari coming out just in front, and I think that may be Lewis. I think he could have waited a little, just took a bit of time, but I'm unsure with the time on the clock. He has to get out the way there, and he's got enough time to get around quite gently, so he's not having to worry too much about that, and then maybe if he keeps up, could actually get a bit of a slipstream going down into turn 1, but that'll all just depend on how quick he is going to be able to stay behind. Under 130R exit Degna 2 there, up the hill. You want to try and get the car straightened up as quick as you can for that hairpin of turn 11. Now flat out all the way down this hill and then back up as you come into the spoon curve. That's turns 13 and 14 before you end up going flat out here all the way down to 130R. Getting a little bit of a slipstream maybe, or is that going to be too far away to affect? And then we'll go, the Haas gets out the way, and I think that was King Panda there, who's currently sitting in 6th on a 129.713. Abusing them curbs there at turn 16 and 17 there. Casio triangle, and puts that in 3rd place at 129.278. Nice time there from the Red Bull driver. We'll go further down to see who is going to be up next. Got Mel Dave on an outlap. Let's see, are they going to be able to make the line? 3, 2, 1, and they just missed the line. So the highest they're going to be doing is 11th. Bexon Boyd not going to be going any quicker, as they've just spun out at Degna 2 will be with Chuck Norris, where Bucko just coming around there. Onsu puts in an even faster time of 127.918, half a second quicker than XD Pro, who's not going to be going any quicker. Across the line, Chuck Norris goes 10 to 130.077. We've got Jack Vaughan coming up next, just to the Casio Triangle. Let's see what the Alpine driver's going to be able to do. Currently sitting in 11th with a 130.117. How are they going to improve on that? Goes third, 129.165. Nicely done there from the Alpine driver. We'll go further down to see Lewis. How are they going to do? They've just managed to make that at the end there, near the line. And I think that's going to be it. Is that Sue going again? I think that Sue is going again. But we'll go with King Panda, as they're going to be the next ones to cross the line. Coming around the final corner to the line, the improved goes 6 to 129.237. I don't think Lewis improved. They did improve, but not enough to move up any positions. And Atsu jumps into the pits. And there we have it, folks. That is the end of sprint qualifying. And just seeing King Panda there, if he's lagging or not. So, because I think he's been having issues. Right, so we'll be back in just a few moments. We're just going to be having a little 5-minute break. So stay where you are, folks. Maybe always wait a minute. Is that damp or is that just? Oh, we're going to be seeing soon enough. So we're going to be having a little break for a couple of moments. Gives you time to go and make your cups of tea or such. While the drivers get their finalisations sorted for this 9-lap sprint race. So tune back in just a couple of moments, folks, just about 2 to 3 minutes. So there we have it, folks. That is a little break over, and we're about to get ready to get back underway, racing again for this 9-lap sprint race. You know, I've better been to the toilet and such, because this is going to be a belter here. Looking at the ground, is it a little bit damp? If anyone in the comments, or listen in the comments, could let me know real quick. But it looks like everyone's on dry tyres, it seems. Oh, so only one driver deciding to go aggressive at the start and go on them soft tyres. Are they going to be able to hold out enough to get them to the end of this Grand Prix? As I know that this is quite a high deg circuit, especially on the front end of the car with these high speed lefts and right, especially with the S section. Will definitely be putting a load on the tyres, and 130R doesn't half like to put pressure on the right hand side of the car and on them tyres. So could see a lot of deg in that sense. So these soft tyres may not be the best strategy, as near the end might end up falling off quite considerably in the last couple of laps, but we'll soon see how that's going to be for Nell Dave. Onsu, their teammate, though, at the front of the pack. So we'll see if they're going to be able to, if they're going to try and play the team game and try and hold everyone up to allow Nell Dave to catch up and get up the field, or are they just going to go for it and make sure to secure that lead, as we do have another qualifying session, so it's a little bit easier in that sense for the drivers to make a little mistake. Of course, remembering to the previous year where the sprint race would determine your grid position. So if you finished in, got qualifying, finished in, got third, finished in first, then you'd be starting on pole for the rest. But now we have a little qualifying session in between the sprint and the race to determine the main grid for the race. So we'll see how that's going to go. We've just seen the drivers lining back up on the grid, and now we'll see how things are going to be going. Just got last couple of drivers coming out with the Casio triangle. So there we go, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we're away for the start of this sprint Grand Prix. Looked like Onsu managed to get a good start there. Is Ricky Maru going to have an answer going into turn 1? It doesn't look like it. Great start there by XD Pro, but goes wide going into turn 1. Have that outside line. There's been contact between XD Pro and Steve, and I think XD Pro may have damaged the Alpine of, I think that's Thatcher's, cutting right across the turn 3 there, after going wide on the exit of turn 2. There we see Trucker going right off track, and we've seen 10-second penalty for severe collision, and this is just chaos right now. No one managing to get a good start here except from Onsu and Ricky Maru and a few of the other guys at the front. Now we see XD Pro is down 10 places, and we've seen a few other drivers are having major mistakes. So this is going to be one of them. Everyone's just going for it here. XD Pro going up the inside, going into the hairpin on, I think that was Bexon Boy. Yep, managing to get up into 12th position now, and will be desperate to get back up there after starting up in 3rd place. We'll move further up right now. Seeing Chuck Norris going a little bit wide there at Spoon. We'll move further up. Ricky Maru still on the tail of the leader up ahead. We'll keep an eye on that and see how things are going to go, and if they're going to manage to be able to go for a move at any point. Of course, not going to have any DRS until the end of lap 2, of course, with the DRS zone being behind the, I think that's on the exit 130R. So the DRS won't be activated just this lap yet. Looking further back, seen Night Flash having a little look there. Oh, looking back there, XD Pro getting past Floyd now, and he is on a warpath right now. Desperate to get up there and get as many points as possible. XD Trucker, sorry, into the pits and was retired from the Grand Prix after getting a 10-second time penalty and another one for speeding in the pit lane. Seen these drivers all sitting nice and close to each other as they're coming through Degna 1 and 2. Big hawk up there from Chuck Norris. That's not going to be very nice on them tyres. Mel Daves though, on them soft tyres, up to 5th place, up 7 places right now. And that is incredible. Seeing yellow flag in Sector 3. Dirty Zombie is into the pits. We'll see what tyres they are on. They went onto the soft compound tyres. Yellow flag Sector 1. That's just Trucker coming out of the pit lane. And what we'll do is we'll have a go further up. Night Flash, are they going to be going for a move? Doing their best Fernando Alonso impression. Are they going to go for it? Nope, it doesn't look like it. They may be going to try and do it, going into the Casio triangles. They're going to have the DRS now, but they decide better against it. XD Pro is definitely one to watch right now as they're going side by side with Jack Vaughan going into the Casio triangle and they make contact, and XD Pro has to ends up going straight a little. Looking further up, we've seen a change for the lead just there between Ricky Maru and Onsu. We've seen Jay and Night Flash swapping positions. Is Jay going to be able to come back and have an answer for the McLaren? Seen a lot of walk up there from the McLaren just up ahead. In 6th place of Night Flash. XD Pro now getting past Jack Vaughan after the little tap with each other going into the final chicane of turn 16 and 17. So now XD Pro, next one is up is going to be Buckle in that RB, so we'll see if they've got an answer for them. Oh, having a little peek there, a little cheeky peek. Are they going to be going for it, going down into 130R? Please do. Let's see. Oh, he's using that battery now into that slipstream, using hot lap. They've decided they're not going to be able to be close enough to go for the move just yet. So they're going to have to be a little bit patient, getting around the 130R a lot quicker though. And he's going for the move which he tried on Jack Vaughan there earlier on, going down the outside at turn 16 into the Casio triangle, but ended up not managing to get any good right now. Looking on right now, we see King Panda and Steve swapping places there. Now, we've seen just a little bit of argy-bargy there as we're going into turn 1. We'll go further down. We've seen this battle here. XD Pro now getting past Chuck Norris after Buckle got past, so Chuck Norris now down 2 positions. We've seen that lovely front wing of that Sauber car. Anybody watching along right now, feel free to put your comments in. Leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe, much appreciated. But either way, we'll go down to Bexon Boy, who's off at Dunlop. That's never a good sign. Did they get any damage actually? Oh, that was close there. Bexon Boy, any damage to that Aston Martin? Nope, it doesn't seem to be. Going back down to XD Pro and Buckle battling it out. And they're side by side as they're coming around 200R. That is turn number 12, and now managing to get the move done is XD Pro, now up into 8th place. They've got 2.6 seconds the gap to Jay ahead. And having a look, is Chuck Norris going to be having a look down the inside, going into 130R, and he is. He's got the move done, going down the inside of 130R. Absolutely spectacular there from the Sauber driver. And oh, was there contact there? I just seen a big bit of debris coming flying up, and I think Jack Vaughan actually went into the back of Buckle, going into the Casio triangle, so that is not good, and they've have had to pit, and they've got a 10-second time penalty, and they've just retired from the Grand Prix, realising they're not going to be getting any points regardless, unfortunately. Moving further up to the front of the pack right now is Ricky Maru's chasing down the Williams of Onsu, who started on pole. See, Onsu wanting to be quite cautious with that battery, but big lock up there going into turn 11 of the hairpin. Of course, we've seen here in the past plenty of controversial moments and ups and downs that have happened here. Championship wins and failures. 30 Zombies retired from the Grand Prix in the pit lane, so that's not very nice. Of course, we have seen the two world champions, Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, both coming together plenty of times over the years, but here they did twice, and both times decided the world championship that year. Of course, in 1989 it was the final chicane, and that was Alain Prost who actually ended up coming up away with the win after Ayrton Senna went flying up the inside. And then we ended up seeing it a year later at the very first corner, Ayrton Senna going flying up the inside and ended up making contact yet again, and Alain Prost ended up going right off into the barrier. We've also seen 1987 when the first when this track first came on the calendar. We ended up seeing Nigel Mansell in contention with the title with Nelson Piquet, but ended up that got decided in qualifying after Nigel Mansell ended up spinning off and hit the barriers backwards at the S's. So he ended up with a back injury and ended up having to go to hospital, and that ended up ruining his chances. And so the title ended up going to Nelson Piquet. Now looking on at Ricky Maru, they're close enough to go for the gap now. Going into turn 1, they'll be able to have that DRS and they will have that advantage. They're going to be just sitting behind. It seems like they are not using much of that battery, but using the DRS, so they're going to be staying behind for another until the next lap, and that is when they're going to go for it, going on to the final lap. Night Flash and Mel Dave swapping places. Are they soft tyres starting to fall off? King Fi Panda actually getting a penalty there for corner cutting and gaining a place, so I guess that must have been going into the final corner. Going into the Casio triangle, ended up cutting across. Maybe registered that Night Flash was just ahead as they were going into the corner. So then, yeah, but unfair in there. Buckle, oh, Chuck Norris going off. And that is coming up to turn 7 of the Dunlop curb. We'll look further up and see. Of course, Ricky Maru's not going to be going for the move just yet. He's going to be sitting behind another lap. He's not wanting it to be too easy for Onsu to be able to go and get past. But right now we've got Bucko and Atsu going side by side. They're going into Spoon, and Bucko actually ends up going very deep there. But are they going to be able to get the run on Floyd, who just passed them there? It doesn't look like it. He's maybe a little bit of that battery, they could have ended up going for it, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. Floyd will have the DRS going into turn 1, so that's going to be perfect for Bucko to, for Floyd to defend. Jesus peeps. Mel Dave now losing another place to XD Pro. XD Pro only 3 spaces off where he started, and he sees that 4th is a viable option right now. Of course, it's just all about damage limitation now for the McLaren driver, after not having the best of starts and ended up almost pretty much down at the back of the grid. But now they have been sawing away at the time each and every lap, and I'm pretty sure he'll have quite that fastest lap. No, he hasn't actually, but he has been the most consistent. Ricky Maru putting in the fastest lap, 1:30.336. No, 2:77, sorry. So right now will be with Ricky Maru, as we're just away to get ready to come on to the final lap. We're just heading up to 130R right now. We'll see how things are going to go for the Sauber driver. Are they going to be able to go for the move going into turn 1? Now they'll be using that battery. There we go. We see that yellow light saying overtake there at the bottom of the screen. And there we go into the slipstream using that DRS. And now they get past before they even get into turn 1. So now up into first place goes Ricky Maru. Jay, are they going to be able to go for it on Mel Dave on them old softs going into turn 1? They're going to have that grip. And oh, risky move there, getting a little bit on the curve going into turn 1. That could have unsettled the car and that could have ended Jay's race there. But however, the ballsy driver goes for it and gets up. Battle for the lead here. Ricky Maru and Onsu battling out here. So Ricky Maru got that position, but now Onsu's managed to come back and get the lead. What is Ricky Maru going to say to that King 5 Panda? What's happened to them? They've went off at Dunlop Curve, and now they're losing lots of places. And oh, that was close for that. So it looked like they were, the car wasn't ghosting there, and it looked like they were going to actually go through the Haas. And by I mean through, I mean take half of the car with them. So Ricky Maru now is going to have to go all out here, using that slipstream, using that battery. They're going to have to try and go for that Fernando Alonso-esque move, going around the outside of 130R. Are they going to be able to get it done? Nope, to go off the track. They're going to have the inside line going into the Casio triangle. What is going to happen? They make contact a little. Ricky Maru gets pushed a little and gets on the curb and loses the momentum that they had. Onsu walks away with the victory here at the Sprint Grand Prix. Spectacular battling from the pair of them. Steve comes home in third, then we've got Night Flash in fourth, fifth for Jay, followed closely behind by Mel Dave and XD Pro in seventh. So Mel Dave managing to get that overtake done again, and King 5 Panda falls all the way down to 11th, make that 12th after getting a 10-second time penalty for cutting the corner. Sorry folks, but there we go. Just waiting on Bucko coming across the line to finish us off, and there we go. There we have it, folks, the end of the sprint race. So see Onsu there starting in first, finishing first. Ricky Maru there providing an excellent battle there, especially near the end in that Sauber, managing to get second place. Steve in third, then we had Night Flash in fourth. Jay in fifth, coming up 5 places from 10th. Nicely done. Mel Dave on them soft tyres came up from 12th to 6th, and we had XD Pro unfortunately at the start, not having the best of starts, and ended up managing to get a 7th at least. Atsu 8th or 9th Lewis, then we had Floyd, Pink in 10th, 11th for Chuck Norris, King 5 Panda, Thatchers and Bucko. And then the ones who did not finish the Grand Prix unfortunately were Bexon Boy. Unfortunately didn't finish the Grand Prix, neither did Jack Vaughan, Dirty Zombie or Trucker. So that's a bit unfortunate in that sense that they did not finish the Grand Prix. But now we're going to be moving on to qualifying, where it's going to be an 18-minute Grand Prix, 18-minute qualifying session to determine who's going to be on that front row and who's going to be in the closest to turn 1. And bearing in mind also, folks, we are going to be having a wet race, it seems, for the feature race. So therefore we could see a few drivers possibly taking a little bit longer to come out. Well, as I say that, we'll end up seeing, I think that was that XD Pro coming out, yep, and just seen Jay also coming out. So we'll see how things are going to go. Welcome along those who have just joined. We just moved into the short qualifying session. And night flash on the hard compound tyres. That's a little bit of an odd one, I will say. But we'll see how they're going to go with that. So, those who have just joined, if you haven't subscribed already, it'd be much appreciated. It helps the channel out a lot. And leave a like if you enjoy this content, as it would be much appreciated and helps me know what you guys like and what you don't. So, right now, XD Pro taking the IndyCar line around Spoon Curve there. Of course, that is one thing I never understood about IndyCars. I've never seen it at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. Actually, I ended up seeing the cars at the penultimate corner going right off the track, and it wasn't seen as exceeding track limits. And to be honest, I seen that as really weird. To be honest, is with them being allowed to do that, really. So if that's the case, then what is a track? You know. But yeah, fortunately enough, we don't have that issue here in Formula One. The white lines that border the tarmac are the track limits, as you see there on either side of the road. Now, XD Pro qualified third in the sprint. Didn't have the best starts in the sprint race, so ended up managing to secure 7th after a very hard fought battle coming from the back of the grid pretty much, and really desperate to make amends for that sprint Grand Prix there. After getting right out of shape there coming around the hairpin. See, has McLaren got what it takes? And Night Flash is actually retired. There, we'll stay on board with him. Is it going around the final corner? I think they may have hit the pit barrier there. 129.548, that's quite a considerable way off the previous times, but of course, remembering it is going to be a wet race, so that could that'll be due to everyone having higher downforce setups and possibly higher ride heights to be a bit more used to the higher downforce wet setup. Of course, we know that you would need to run a higher ride height due to allow the water to pass under the car without disturbing the air. Of course, you do end up with not managing to be able to hold the car as low to the ground as what you normally would, but then at the same time that does end up preventing the car from aquaplaning, where the car essentially just lifts off the ground and you have no grip whatsoever. You're practically on ice. But we're still seeing some drivers here still getting accustomed. Thatcher's right down on their time. They're 2 minutes 2. Doing an extra lap, it seems, after seems they messed up their first lap at suit. 129.450. Nicely done from them. See who's going to be up next. It's Ricky Murray, but they're just starting a lap. We've got Dirty Zombie is on a lap right now. Abusing that curve a little bit too much and abused the grip of that car. Still managed to get a P8 though, 131.210. Could go quicker, I could see. To Steve though, around the Casio triangle to the line. Both P1, 128.941. Let's hope they've not forgot that it's going to be a wet Grand Prix and they've got a dry setup on, of course. That will be absolutely tragic. If that does happen, of course, that does end up ruining your chances for the race. King Fly Panda 129.729. But of course, with it being wet, you do need that extra bit of grip for to keep the car pushed down and give you the momentum you need in order to carry on. Oh, we've just seen there that Lewis has subscribed, so thank you for the subscribe there, Lewis. Much appreciated. We've got Ricky Maru on a lap now. Let's see how they are going to do. Finished second in the sprint race there. Qualified P2, also in sprint qualifying. Of course, everyone's going to be running different setups now with Parc Ferme not being an issue. Ricky Maru, what time are they going to be able to put in? Wow. 128.823, and that manages to push them up to the top. Up next is going to be Onsu, the driver who got the win just by the slimmest of margins in the sprint race. Of course, it was really close there come the end, and oh, it seems they're doing another warm-up lap. You don't really see that too often, sometimes, but they better watch they don't end up beaching it. Keep that car moving there. You don't want to end up getting beached, as that does completely ruin your races. Yeah, they would only be starting practically at the back of the grid, unfortunately. Buckle now starting their lap on Sue just behind. Did put in a 133.882, so quite a quick out lap. But we'll see how they are going to do this time, coming around turns 1 and 2, using that track up as much as possible. Just touching that curb at turn 4 there, and 5 and 6, and now Dunlop curb turn 7. This big uphill left-hander as you come into Diagonal 1, using that curb on the right, and then on the exit of Diagonal 2, up to turn 11 of the hairpin. Let's see, is that a Red Bull just ahead of Atsu, who just locked up there? I think that was Atsu anyway. Looking at the icon on the map, of course, they're not really the best with about half the grid being a blue colour. It's very, very odd, I will say. Wish there was a bit more variety in terms of colours. Of course, saying that, looking back at like the during the 70s and 80s, we've seen the McLaren and the Ferraris looking eerily similar to each other, of course. Both white and red, or in Ferrari's case, red and white. That's just my opinion, really. On suit, 128.668. Not quick enough for first place in, well, pole position as of yet. We'll see how that is going to fare for them. Oh, and Floyd just abusing the curb a little too much there into the on the exit of the Casio Triangle. So let's see, Buckle currently sitting with a 130.704. I think that was Chuck Norris there, not that was Ricky Murray there, just making sure they were out of the way. Let's see how Buckle is going to do this time. Of course, if it is going to be raining in the rest, then it is going to be one of them where you're going to have to make sure you get a good qualifying position, as there's not going to be any DRS, so you're going to end up having to do the overtakes the old-fashioned way. Bucko 130.459 goes quicker by just under a quarter of a second. Jack Vaughan in the Alpine coming around 130R. The other Alpine sitting down in 15th place right now, so not doing particularly the best. But right now, let's see how Jack Vaughan's going to go. They're just starting their lap now, but still managed to improve on their out lap. I will say this is quite annoying. 5 minutes 30 seconds, there we go. It does like to annoy you with the flashing of the telling you that it's a yellow flag out, and of course you already know that. Wish you could just move it up that little bit. So not many drivers on a lap at the moment. We've seen Lewis though, who is on a lap. So it seems Lewis currently sitting in 10th place right now. We'll see how things are going to be changing for them as they're just coming into spin now. Are they going to be, if they're not going to be doing a good enough time, they may just jump into the pits. I don't think they're going to, oh, that's going to definitely slow them up a little. Getting on that grass, going down the straight to the 130R. Don't want to be doing that, that'll end up hindering you right up. So I think this may be the last lap they set, 129.493. It's good enough for 8th place. Jack Vaughan jumps into the pits. Thatcher's on a lap now. We'll see how they're going to do. They're sitting in 15th right now. Get off that grass there on the right hand side. Don't want to be getting on that. That's just going to hinder the car and make you lose a couple of miles an hour. And we know that in qualifying, them 2 or 3 miles an hour, that could mean everything. That could mean the difference between starting first and starting last. Unfortunately, it looks like Thatcher's may be starting last. Well, second last anyway, as Mike Flash did end up retiring from qualifying, so we'll be starting in P18 at the very back of the grid on row 9. So what we'll do is we'll just sit with Floyd. We'll just sit on board with them as we wait for them to finish their lap. And having a little look at the time right now, we've got 2 minutes and 30 on the clock now. Well, about now. There we go. So down to 2 minutes 30, so not long left, only enough time for one more lap for each driver. So Floyd managing to put in a 129.820, 100th of a second quicker than the Alpine of Jack Vaughan. So nicely done there from Floyd. Chuck Norris just starting a lap. Oh, we've seen a lot of dirt there getting kicked up. Thatcher's just starting their lap. Ricky Maru coming around Spoon there. Quite a big walk up there coming around there. And now on the run down to 130R, turn 15. Let's see, is Ricky Maru going to be able to improve on their time of a 128.298? With these, them putting in a good time already, they could just go for it in the dead, a 128.185. Nicely done there from Ricky Maru. We've got Onsu just starting their main lap now, draining plenty of fuel out of that car. King Fi Panda just went into 4th position with a 128.804, and I think they managed to get a good slipstream off of the Mercedes of Trucker. Jay just coming around Diagonal 1 and 2 there, absolutely flooring it around there. In these lower speed corners, these cars are incredible now with the more insane amounts of downforce that they're carrying due to a way to be a wet race in a few moments. You see Jay slowing up, not realising he's going to be able to go any quicker, it seems. Just getting out of the way of the Aston Martin, so it's going to be at least 5th there for them. XD Pro 128.124. They put that on provisional pole position. Ricky Maru isn't going to have an answer, so they're going to be starting in at least 2nd place. Onsu, are they going to be able to make it another pole position star? We will soon find out. We'll go down to Steve, who's just coming out of the final corner now. Let's see what time they're going to be able to put on the board. They go 3rd, 128.526. That's a Floyd making sure he's out of the way of his teammate of King Panda there, but of course not on a lap. Onsu though, who is on a lap and determined to get that pole position. Are they going to be able to get it? Staying to the right hand side, and no, they just miss out by 0.3 of a second. So XD Pro on pole position for now. We'll see is any other drivers going to have an answer for it. Bex and Boy, are they going to be able to do it? Nope, they're down on their time by a good considerable amount. Floyd is done, Buckle is done, and Dirty Zombie is down on their time. So I think that is it for everyone. Yep. And no one is going to be changing any spaces, so it looks like XD Pro managing to get that pole position with a 128.124. So nicely done from them. So there we go, we're just waiting for the drivers of Chuck Norris and Floyd to get wheeled into their boxes. And this is going to be fun. I hope this doesn't end up causing a penalty. As you see, sometimes this has happened in the past. See, is anyone going to end up penalty here? Is Lewis? Nope, it doesn't look like it, because we do know that sometimes that has happened after qualifying has finished. Some drivers have ended up getting grid penalties for blocking another driver, even though they are not on a lap anymore. So there we go, XD Pro getting that pole position, nicely done, making amends after the terrible sprint race that they just had. Ricky Maru in 2nd, Onsu 3rd this time after getting that pole position in the sprint race just a few moments before this. Steve in 4th, then we had King Fi Panda, Jay in 6th, 7th for Jack Vaughan, then we had Atsu in 8th, Chuck Norris 9th, Lewis 10th, Bexon Boy 11th, and we had Trucker and Mel Dave in 12th and 13th, 14th for Floyd, then we had Buckle, Dirty Zombie, Thatchers, and then we had, after Thatchers, it was Night Flash, sorry, who did not finish after retiring in qualifying. So, looking at it right now, we can see that the heavens have opened up and it is soaking the track right now, and we know what Japan is like for absolute downpours of rain. And seeing the chat just going mad saying rain, so that I think some of them are not really happy about it, but we know what that means. That is going to be an absolute blast for us spectators. So it is one thing I will say is stay tuned. We will be racing again in a couple of minutes. We're just going to be having a little couple of minute break, so we'll be back with you in 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. So there we have it, folks. We've had the message to say that it was that we're getting ready to go, and it's looking like it's apparently a lot of people in the chat are saying that it was wet for them, and other ones are saying it was dry. And I just had a message from Ricky Maru saying he'd done it for a race before, where they just followed the icon at the top of the session, and it said that it was going to be raining. All it was a light drizzle in the last lap. Sorry. So yeah, unfortunately, the game not the best at predicting. The weather front is quite terrible, it would seem. So we'll see how things are going to go for the drivers now. How many are going to be able to make it? And I suspect there may be a bit of chaos again, especially with these this issue with a lot of drivers with setups. King Fi Panda actually choosing the full wet tyres. Are they happy with that choice? That's the question. It doesn't seem to be, and a lot of people actually going off at Degna. One there. Taking it a bit too much, realising it's not a race yet. We're just on a formation lap. But the whole grid in a McLaren sandwich right now. So we're just 1 minute away from being underway, racing again at this 5.81 kilometre track, or 3.608 mile long track, 18 turns here. We're going to be having 27 laps of racing, and I would say the tyres we're using is the C3 soft, C2 mediums and the C1 hards, but it doesn't look like we're going to be using them in this weather as things stand at the moment. But one person I will be keeping an eye on is King Panda, and we'll see how the wet tyres are going to work. Is it going to be perfect for them, or are they going to fare quite terribly, and are they going to end up falling off or not being grippy enough? We'll soon see. Now, folks, all the drivers have lined back up on the grid, having a couple of drivers not managing to make it into their boxes properly. But here we go, folks. Good luck to everyone. We've got 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're away for the main race of round 8 here at Suzuka. Ricky Maru managing to get a great start there. XD Pro actually falling right back and down 2 places on Sue, and Ricky Maru getting up. King 5 Panda fighting with Jack Vaughan. King 5 Panda, and King Panda's lagging like crazy. King Panda, not nice. No, they need to sort that connection issue, unfortunately. That's not faring well for them. Looking at the position changes now. Dirty Zombie up 4 places already. So great form from them. We're seeing Dirty Zombie, just as I say that, going off at Spoon and losing a good few positions, trying not to cut across any drivers there, and ended up losing a good 4 places there after getting up a good few places. Jay being overtaken by King 5 Panda. Jay actually around at the hairpin of turn 11. This is proven to be quite catastrophic for a lot of drivers. Some of them not using the using the correct setups. Of course, we did end up hearing in the chat that in Discord that it was, for some drivers, it was proven that it was going to be sunny. But looking at this spray, and it's looking like King 5 Panda might actually have been onto something, as this rain looks like it's getting heavier and heavier. We'll see how they're going to be doing and faring on these wet tyres. Are they going to be able to close that gap to Jack Vaughan? 1.2 seconds sits to 1.3 now. So we'll continue to have a look on that. Chuck Norris being overtaken by Bexenboy and now by Mel Dave, who uses that momentum after getting a terrible launch out of the final corner. Loses 2 places there, and it just goes to show you how much a bad launch could hinder you. So it looks like, a little bit of contact there between Jay and Night Flash. And Dirty Zombie is out at turn 1. Is this going to be a safety car? No, it doesn't look like it. Trucker into the pits. Must be for a new front wing. Are they going on to the wet tyres? Nope, they're staying on the intermediates. Jay now making up the move on the inside at the Dunlop curb, taking advantage of that error, but then right after that he ends up spinning out and onto the gravel. Is he going to be able to manage to get back going again? Yes, he is. That is absolutely catastrophic for Jay after having such a great qualifying session, and now this rain has hindered them completely, down 10 places from 6th on the grid. On Sue, not enjoying this monsoon. Sitting in second place right now, looking at Ricky Maru, just needing to get past here, as they didn't do the best in qualifying. Started in third, XD Pro getting a terrible launch and is now down into third place. 1.2 seconds is the gap. Remembering we won't have DRS here, folks, while this rain is on. When the rain stops and the track starts to dry up, that's when we will be allowed the luxury of DRS. King Fight Panda getting past Lewis there and going off the track and struggling on them wet compound tyres and almost coming right across the path of Lewis. Now being overtaken by Lewis, and is Bexon Boy going to throw it up the inside? Nope, lifts off, going in there, being a bit more cautious. Lewis getting out of shape on that curve on the exit of turn 1 and almost allows King Panda to get up and past. But looking at how difficult and treacherous these conditions are, King Fly Panda actually lagging all over the place, unfortunately. But we'll see. Just give me one moment, folks. Sorry folks, oh, see Bexton Boy getting right out of shape after seeing Panda lagging, and that causes them to lose 2, 3 and possibly 4 places as Night Flash comes up and past up into 11th. So that is not very good after King Panda struggling on them in them wet tyres in these conditions, and lagging all over the place is not the best thing that's happening. We'll have a quick look up at the leaders right now. Onsu not getting close enough, using that battery, and that is the only form of advantage that you're going to be able to try and use, and unfortunately everybody on the grid has that advantage. Ricky Maru getting that car a little bit out of shape. They're coming out of turn 2, just having to be extra careful on the steering and on the throttle, because we do know that you end up with reduced levels of grip at this in the wetter conditions. Chuck Norris looking like he was about to manage to overtake King Panda there. He's just waiting for that opportunity to strike. Of course, really hard to see when you're off board these cars, with it being a bit wet. It's really a bit harder to see them. It doesn't look like King Panda is going to be able to make a move on Mel Dave anytime soon, but Chuck Norris is going to be able to make a move on King Panda soon by the looks of things, but not managing to get a good launch, getting a bit too close for comfort, going in to Degna 2, and King Panda lags there, and the same thing happens again, but this time with Chuck Norris, and now Bexon Boy gets past. This isn't good. This isn't good, to be honest, for these drivers to end up, unfortunately, not managing to keep it good with the lagging, unfortunately. Ricky Maru setting the fastest lap. Who's that that's off? Who has crashed, and where is that? Thatcher's, where have they crashed? I can't even see where that is. Oh, that is unfortunate. Let me see, I'll try and go back. I'm just trying to see here what... It was Thatcher's who crashed. I'm trying to see whereabouts that was. I think that was at Degna 2. Of course, this track being very treacherous, especially in these conditions. Are we going to see any drivers come into the pits? I think some of these drivers, the best thing might be for them to come into the pits, and then they'll be able to get a good fresh set of either inters or wets. Floyd going on to the wets though. King Panda opting to jump off the wets onto the intermediates. So this is interesting. So what we'll do, give me a moment, folks. Right, I'm going to have to pause the stream for just a briefest of moments, and then we'll be right back. Just give me one moment, folks. There we go, sorry about that, folks, there. Just had to... So... There we go. Oh, and they've retired. So that's a bit unfortunate due to the lagging, and yeah, they've DNF'd. So so it's the game, not the internet. So now we're down to 14. Somehow, what happened to Chuck Norris there? So just give me one moment, folks. So Chuck Norris did just retire from the Grand Prix, unfortunately, so there is that. So, seen, unfortunately, it wasn't Panda's internet, it was their game, unfortunately, so it ended up blue screening and such, and maybe that's the case with Chuck Norris also, as they did end up retiring on track also, but we'll see what happens. See if we hear any word about that. We're just waiting for Trucker and Floyd to catch up to the back of the pack. I think that's Trucker and Floyd, is it? Yep, so I'm unsure how these wet tyres are going to do for Floyd. It's going to be a special one. They weren't really working well with Panda. Was it Panda? Yeah. So they weren't really working well with King Panda, so we'll just see. So there we go, we've seen the last of the pack back bunch back up. And you see that Steve and Jack are the only two that did not decide to pit. And well, Trucker hasn't pit, but of course he has already pit on lap 1. So there we go. Race control telling us that the safety car is in this lap. We're going to be getting back underway, racing at the start of lap 8. We will have 19 laps of racing still to go. So when is he going to go? He's going now. There we go. He is away. Is Ricky Maru going to be able to get the move done on Jack? Yes, he is. Ricky Maru in a great spot here now. He's the only driver in the top 3 who has pit. Onsu has now got a little bit of traffic between him and Ricky Maru, and this could be the Silver's chance to pull away. All he needs to do is get past the Aston Martin of Steve, who is on them older intermediate tyres. We'll see if Ricky Maru is going to be able to do it. Buckle being overtaken by the Red Bull of Atsu and possibly Lewis. Nope, not just yet, but that is coming, mark my words. Jay getting right close up to the back of Night Flash. Night Flash starting at the back of the grid after crashing out in qualifying, as Jay, who started in 6th, unfortunately not leading the best of starts in this Grand Prix. Floyd down after being overtaken on them wet tyres. It seems like it's just within the intermediates. There's only that crossover, it seems, and but it's the crossover that's slightly in between and more on the intermediate side still. So we see there Jack Vaughan going wide at Spoon and now loses 3 positions, now down into 6th. So the softer tyres the older tyres not providing to be the best after Buckle, Jack and Steve have not pit, but Steve managing to provide excellent positional awareness in order to hold off that position. Of course he is draining that battery like crazy. Ricky Maru getting the fastest lap of 140.2. So see XD Pro and getting right out of shape there and actually ghosting. Jack and Atsu going side by side going into turn 3, and Jack, the resilient one, manages to hold out and gains that position back after making a mistake the previous lap at Spoon. Now let's see, Atsu still right on the coattails of Alpine's Jack Vaughan. Oh, is Lewis having a little peek there? He was. And with that, he made out that he was going for the move that allowed Lewis to end up going a bit deep. And Lewis getting off track. And now, that attempt is, getting a bit on the grass there and almost going right into the side of Night Flash. And that could have been another safety car just there. Thankfully, it is not just yet, at least. Atsu going for that move, going for the Fernando Alonso-esque, and Jack using that battery ever effectively. And that was not 2 metres, that was not enough space given to Atsu there, not But we'll see how things are going to go now. Taking the wider line around the final corner of turn 18. Are they going to be able to get close enough? It doesn't seem like it. Mel Dave though, looked like no, but thought they were going to be able to get down the inside there, but Buckle having that top end speed. quick look up at the front of the pack. Onsu right on the tail of Ricky Maru, still trying to get past the Aston Martin of Steve, but brakes just on the grass, gets out of shape, costs him a tenth or two, but still managed to keep it steady. Trucker is out of this Grand Prix, and we've got another safety car. Whereabouts is that? That's coming up to the Dunlop curb, and we could see on the right hand side there that stricken Mercedes into the barrier. That is so unfortunate, and now we're down to 13 drivers here. Floyd doesn't want to be on them wet tyres, he'll need to get off them. This track is not wet enough for the blue walled Pirellis. So we'll see if he's going to be pitting. Is Steve going to be jumping in? Ricky Maru's in a perfect position now. That's the thing, if Steve could hold out and keep these tyres going to the end, it's going to be a tough call. I don't think it is possible, but we'll soon see if that can be the case. Is Steve jumping in? Yep, Steve jumping into the pits. Ricky Maru takes the lead of this Grand Prix by staying out. Onsu in second. XD Pro jumps in again for another set. Jack Vaughan coming in now, rightfully so, off them 10 lap old intermediate tyres. Now we see quite a lot of drivers are jumping into the pits, and rightfully so. Floyd coming in, and I hope they're going onto the intermediate tyres, as it may be soaking in the pit lane, but on track it is not so as much, with the drivers coming around and the water being sprayed outwards off of that racing line. So we should be seeing the safety car in at the end of this lap. As we get down to 130R down, it's a little bit straight here. We should get the message from race control to say that the safety car is in at the end of this lap. And then we're going to see it pop up here. No. No, there we go, a bit later than I was expecting. But there we go, safety car is in at the end of this lap, and we are going to be getting underway racing again for lap 13. You see Ricky Murray, they're just trying to get as much temperature into them tyres as possible, into them front tyres. Getting a little bit out of shape. 10-second time penalty for Jay for a severe collision with XD Pro. We'll quick look and see after this has happened. Has Jay got any damage to that front wing? Regardless of that, right now, Bucko being overtaken by Steve around the outside to turn 1 and 2. Absolutely spectacular move there from the Aston Martin. Bucko being on them old intermediate tyres, not switching just yet. We'll see if Jay's got any damage to that front wing. Nope, it doesn't seem to be. Any damage to XD Pro? Nope. So no idea why that's 10-second time penalty, a bit much. Yeah, so a quick rundown. Onsu managed to get pole in the sprint qualifying, got the win just and no more. Oh, contact there with XD Pro, and now that front wing is busted, and he will have to get into the pits. Not been there tonight. They managed to get P3 in sprint qualifying, but ended up having a terrible start to the Grand Prix, and there was absolutely chaos going up through the S's. Yep, so Rakimaru and Onsu were battling out going into the final lap, and Onsu managed to just walk away with it by about 2/10. Then going into this one, XD Pro actually managed to get the pole position, but there was a bit of a confusion with a good few drivers. Of some of them, the weather predictions, it came up that it was wet, other ones came up that it was dry, so big confusion. Yeah, a couple of them, King Panda was due to their game being a pain, we'll say, to the very least. Dirty Zombie crash, I can't remember. Chuck Norris did retire on track, Thatcher's crashed out causing the first safety car, and then Trucker just there causing the second safety car. And yeah, so many safety cars because of that confusion, so a lot of drivers haven't got the correct wet setups on. So not the best in terms of that. Looking on at Steve, is he going to go for the lunge, going down into turn 11 at the hairpin? No. Is he going to get the better exit though? No, he's off that racing line on the exit. But looking at it now, oh, ever so close, being ever so gentle. Oh, contact between Steve and Meldave, and I don't think they gave each other enough room there. Oh, and Bucko going right off track there, looking like that was going to be a big collision there. But fortunate enough for some ghosting, that caused a big bit of havoc there. So ended up finding out that Dirty Zombie actually didn't have any wet racing experience, haven't recently anyway. So they ended up unfortunately crashing out, so not the best in terms of that. But Onsu looking for a move, going down into turn 1. They end up making contact, and Onsu goes right off the track. No grip on that outfield there, and loses a considerable amount of time there. Over a second gap now, which Onsu will be desperate to reclaim. Meldave into the pits now after that collision with XD Pro. Zombie didn't get the game long ago. Alright, that's fair. It's yeah, I would say that's very, very acceptable, to be honest. I remember when I first started, it was quite a nightmare, to be honest, doing, especially when I went and made the switch from controller to wheel. That was a very big learning experience. It was like 3 seconds slower and being lapped by lap 5. So yeah, I was absolutely terrible at first, and managed to finally get the hang of it, and was still terrible. Yeah, definitely. The track is even especially bad in the wet. Steve there getting out of shape there, coming around Spoon, and ends up losing the position to Jack. This is going to allow Lewis to catch right up to the back of Steve now for that 6th position. Ricky Maru and Onsu battling out here. My mistake, just missed that. Looking on, is Ricky Maru going to be able to power back? He's using that battery, straining all the way, going around the outside. Is he going to be going? Oh, and Onsu gets right out of shape and almost takes Ricky Maru out, and Onsu getting a 3-second time penalty, and so did Ricky Maru. That is not fair on either driver, I would say, after Onsu making an error, losing time, and Ricky Maru having to take avoiding action. And I think a lot of other drivers and spectators will agree that that shouldn't have been a penalty to either driver. That shouldn't have been a warning. It was one avoiding, one making a mistake. Oh, Bucko there struggling for the grip there on Greenwald Pirellis. I'll have a quick look at the penalty situation. So Jay has a 10-second time penalty due to a severe collision with, I think it was XD Pro, during the safety car restart, but of course neither car got any damage, neither car lost any positions or any momentum, so therefore I think it was way too severe for what did happen. We see XD Pro, Lewis and the top 2 of Onsu and Ricky Maru both having, all having 3-second time penalties due to exceeding track limits. Like I said there, Onsu and Ricky Maru don't deserve them, and they've just got to make sure, if they manage to keep it clean, get a quick view of the race director's notes, and then they could possibly have the 3 seconds removed. But we'll see. Ricky Maru coming into the pits now. Did they get a broken front wing? They did. Oh, that is unusual. So ending up getting a 3-second time penalty and a broken wing. That is so unfair, I will say. But right now, Jay actually sitting in 2nd place. Absolutely incredible, being up and down the field all afternoon. And Atsu getting out of shape there. These drivers are struggling for grip here at this Suzuka International Circuit. Yep, definitely. The controversy has started. A little bit of drama. Yeah, to be fair, I'm unsure. If he does stay out, then I think it would be fair to get it removed. So could possibly end up walking away with a win here if he manages to get within the 3 seconds of Onsu, depending on how things go with Onsu, that is. So yeah, looking good for the Mercedes driver now. See if he is going to be able to walk away with the most points here tonight. Well, in the main race anyway. Looking on at Atsu now. So, right on the tail of Jay. 4.5 seconds is the gap to Onsu in the lead. Onsu proving to be quite a considerable force to be reckoned with here tonight. Especially with Ricky Maru, with them two battling it out, we'll say. Yeah, definitely, like Benji said there, the Zombie will get used to the game. It just takes a little bit of time and practice, but it is one of these games, you put it down for a little bit and you do end up losing a lot of that skill. I will say it's one of these ones that you do need to keep at. Looking at Lewis all over the place there, going through the S's and up the Dunlop curb, and that's allowed Night Flash to take advantage and make use of the mistakes that the Ferrari driver was making, and now moves up into 6th place. Yellow flag in Sector 1. Moving down XD Pro. Have they got a broken front line? No, they don't. So XD Pro and Mel Dave there battling out, swapping places. Floyd being overtaken by Ricky Maru into Degna 2. That is not a place you see people going for overtakes, but manages to make it work. Is XD Pro going to try and do the same? It seems that they're thinking about it, but I think they're going to be leaving it until... maybe not. Absolutely spectacular move here. I don't think it is meant to dry up, but the thing is, you never know with Cody's. They do like to take the mickey, to say the least, and say that it's going to be full wet the whole race, but then ends up stopping after like 2 laps or something. So you never know. It is one of these unpredictable moments. So we could see it drying up, we could see it staying as is, we could even see it getting wetter, we never know. But with a lot of drivers saying that it was coming up, that it was dry on their screens, I'm unsure whether that be Cody's or not or what. So we'll see how things are going to be going. Most likely it's EA and Cody's still. They're not providing the best. Ever since EA took over, it's been, we'll say, mince. Unfortunately, mince is good. What's the plan for this team, professional? Well, we're trying to do a good little balance here, Ben. So, but yeah, Steve sitting 7/10 behind the Alpine. I'll have a quick look at the position changes. So Night Flash up from crashing in qualifying to 6th place, up 12 positions right now. Oh yeah, definitely EA have messed it all the way up, and I will say, even with quite a fan of the FIFA games, but then yeah, they've went a bit crap, to say it, and with all these microtransactions and such, it does end up kind of ruining the game. I mean, you want to see that, Jack getting out of shape there. This is going to be the chance for Steve to strike now and moving to the right hand side, and gets the move done way before turn 1. But yeah, like for instance with the FIFA games, it ends up like being so hard to get some stuff, and well, with this game, I ended up seeing it like getting the deluxe edition, as it was cheaper than the normal edition. I ended up getting 18,000 Bitcoin, but all I had was one of everything, like the default base stuff. Oh, and Jay getting a 3-second time penalty, going right off track there at Degna 2, struggling for grip. That is not going to be good for the Mercedes. Yeah, exactly, Ben. We've got F1 World, and that is very, very exciting. Getting to build a little bit of a house to store cars in, on a game that's all about driving the cars and not storing them. So yeah, a very intellectual decision, we'll say, and the best thing for the game. Insert sarcasm. Yeah, exactly. Just playing in the menus is more fun than driving the game. Well, considering the amount of bugs and such. Yeah, it's a bit of a downside that would not be, unfortunately, us on console don't get such stuff like iRacing or whatever. More of the realistic sim racing stuff. I mean, this game sometimes, yeah, it is realistic in times, but yeah, it's not realistic in others as well. So I'm not played career in a good few years, to be honest. Wasn't really my forte. At the beginning it was. I did enjoy it, but then it just got boring as it was the same thing over and over again. Nothing really interesting, so it was better playing with people online, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. I do agree. Like, games nowadays, they're bringing them out way too early, and they're bringing out half games and then having people pay 60, 70, 80 pound or even over £100 in certain games with it being deluxe editions and such, and it's half a game and you're like, what's happening? Like, where's the rest of it? All it is just messing up completely, unable to play a lot of the game. Um, but yeah, because I remember in the last game, which never even got fixed, not last game, the one before, where you couldn't even use the formation lap. But looking on right now, Steve going for the move on Atsu to move up onto the rostrum. There we go, now gets past on lap 22. Got Lewis into the pits now. What tyres are they going to be going on to a fresh set of the intermediate compound tyres. Right, let me see the chat. So I'm mainly league racing, not much over career mode either, but some of the stuff I've seen some of the stuff and they made out to be more than what it was. Yeah, exactly. It's they always try and make it out to be a lot bigger than what it actually is, and usually it's nothing big, to be honest. Like with this one, literally like 2 or 3 patches of completely different handling since launch. It's unacceptable. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that. They should bring it out where it's working perfectly right way. Looking at Bexon Boy and Floyd battling out side by side, going through the S's. And is Floyd on the hard compound tyres? No, the wets. So that's kind of odd how they're struggling so much. Only on 11 lap holds, and we see absolutely on 16 lap holds, still surviving quite nicely. Yeah, I agree, and one thing I don't really understand is why every year they take out the tracks that don't be used, like they're not being used, like some of the tracks even we didn't even get to see that were used, like the Jello and such. We did get sometimes where it was like the little previous ones, like we ended up getting Portugal. China, which wasn't on the calendar, but I remember, was it 2020 or 21, where you got the short tracks, which were absolutely amazing, and a full race, like 100% race, was usually less than an hour, so equated to just a little bit longer than 50% main race, and it may have been just the same track, but it was also different at the same time. Looking on at Jack Vontel, getting a little bit out of shape going around Degna 2. Actually losing a considerable amount of time to Steve now. Is Steve going to have a shot at getting that second place? Of course, right now he is, with having that, with Jay having at least 13 seconds worth of penalties. Yeah, exactly. Like looking on at this comment here from Mia saying hand-ons is a big thing as well. I get they want to make it accessible to new players, but if they actually put some testing and they could get a good in between, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, why don't they even have just like a sort of like beginner mode, sort of where it puts it into like sort of more arcade sort of like settings, you know, so it's a bit easier, you know. People in control. Looking on at Jack Vaughan, going for the move down the inside, going into turn 1 to make contact, and Jack spins around and is pointing the wrong way. And it looks like they have lost at one position, could be 2. Ricky Mara could be a way to make advantage of this. that is definitely going to be a penalty for Atsu, I would say. But yeah, this year was way too many arcade style, as well as changing the handling switches after release in patches like so. Yeah, I agree. It is just ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, I remember back a couple of years ago where it was nice, fine, even. You know, the wheel drivers did have a slight advantage, of course. You know, but that's to be expected. You're able to be a lot more careful on the throttle and on the turning. So getting around corners, you end up being saving your tyres like a couple of percent more. So you'll be able to do like an extra lap or two on them tyres. So yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I would have expected the esports side of it to be done on a different game, but it seems to want to do it on this one. So, Floyd being overtaken there by Buckle. Now we'll get back to this. We're on lap 25 already. We've only got 2 more laps to go after this. Lap 26 and 27. Looking on Onsu, where they're just coming into Deg in a 2 Lewis, getting a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to affect them, to be honest. But it looks like they're right off track, and it looks like they actually ended up off track and got a penalty because of that. But ludicrous, if you ask me. It's not the best thing to happen. Jay getting right close. Almost getting right out of shape there. Esports the big thing in this game, and they need to sort out. It seems like all you see now is the esports drivers complaining. So they're actually complaining as well. They on about how terrible the game is also, because I would agree, to be honest, because I've noticed that in some of the games it's like the same game just reskinned, really, to be honest, sometimes, and it's ended up not the best. Looking on at Night Flash, are they going to be going for a move here? Steve being ever quick, now pulling away from Jay. Night Flash, they're going to be able to go for a move here. They're only going to be having one more opportunity after this, really, to be able to go for it. There's not very many overtaking opportunities at this track. Yeah, I agree. The handling is... See, I can't really say much about the handling model, to be honest, as I've not really played this game's handling model. I've not raced on this properly. But as my steering wheel did end up breaking at the tail end of last year, which I was gutted about. It was so disappointing. Night Flash looking like they could go for a move here on Atsu, but deciding better against it just yet. I've got an attack and Ricky Maru just behind there, so this could all determine the finishing order. Looking on at penalties, Ricky Maru only got a 3-second time penalty. Don't agree with that. Yeah, with the bugs, that is insane. Like, looking like Ricky Maru going for that move, managing to get past Night Flash. Yellow flag in sector 1. Who is that for? Is that for Bucko? Yep, Bucko now moving down to the back of the pack, down into 13th place. And have they been lapped yet? Nope, they haven't. So now on to lap 27. But yeah, as I was saying about the bugs, it's like a reskin of the previous game. As we've seen, the bugs even come out as it's like the same bugs every year. Ricky Maru now looking for that overtake on Atsu, and he could get that penalty removed, he could move up and keep that 4th position and maybe even move up past. No, he won't move up past Jay. If that 10 seconds is counted. Yeah, exactly. How did you not see them when testing? It's ones that are right obvious and right in your face, to be honest. So yeah, it's not the best when they're doing that and then still got microtransactions for stuff in the game. Looking at it right now, Ricky Maru going for that move on Jay around the outside of the hairpin. Is he going to manage to make it work? Is he going to be able to get the traction he needs? He's going to be on the inside line, going around turn 12. Now manages to get the move finalised. Up into 3rd place. He's got to try and create at least a 3-second gap here to Atsu in order to get this podium position. Of course, that could all change. Like, looking on at Onsu right now, is looking like they're going to get the win here, coming across the line to take victory here around 8 at the Suzuka Grand Prix. Absolutely stellar drive from Onsu there. Next across the line is Steve Atsu, and Night Flash swapping places. We'll flash down to that there. And getting right out of shape. Is this going to be what Ricky Maru needs to get? Oh, let's see, what was the gap? What was the gap? Holy moly, that is really close. Between 3rd, 4th and 5th, that is really close. Just under 3/10 between the lot of them there. Yellow flag. XD Pro doing 360s across the line there. Yeah, but the thing is, I think Jay could possibly end up getting that removed. Ricky Maru also, so could end up getting that 3-second time penalty removed. We'll have a quick look and see after he got that. So Ricky Maru, we've seen the silver up there. So he could possibly get that removed, as they didn't get any more penalties. So there we go, right, just in case anybody does end up needing it at the end. Of course, not much, just waiting on the drivers coming across the line, and Floyd wanting to do their best 360 across the line, and for some reason that steering wheel was rattling side to side there, and I nearly seen it there, I nearly had it. So there we have it, folks. That is the end of this stellar Grand Prix. Really, really wet race out there. Of course, we do end up seeing it quite often in wet races. And there we go. See Onsu getting the victory there. Of course, getting the victory in the sprint race also. Didn't manage to do much in qualifying for the main race, but manages to make up for that during this race. Onsu there getting the victory. Then we had Steve in 2nd, Atsu in 3rd, Ricky Maru actually putting in the fastest lap of the race, 1:38.890, and getting that 4th position. Of course, that could all change if he manages to get that 3-second time penalty removed. Night Flash in 5th. Then we had Jack Vaughan 6th, 7th for Jay, who got an unnecessarily 10-second time penalty, which could bump them up 1 place. Then we had XD Pro in 8th, 9th for Lewis, 10th for Bex and Boy. Then we had Mel Dave Floyd, Buckle, Trucker. Trucker, Panda, Chuck Norris, Thatchers, and Dirty Zombie all did not finish from the Grand Prix. Sorry, all did not finish the Grand Prix, not from the Grand Prix. Cheesy peeps. But there we have it, folks. That is the end. We'll have a quick look and see what race is up next. Of course, I'm going to be live again on Monday night at 8 PM, so you could tune back in for then. Also going to be live again on Tuesday and Thursday here on this channel, roughly around the same time of 8 p.m. Looking on right now, just trying to find, there it is, the calendar. So next week we are going to be at the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia for round 9. So 8 o'clock next Saturday UK time. We'll be looking forward to seeing you in the chat, and yeah, I expect it's going to be a stellar race. So until then, from me, it is peace out.